FullMental Alchemy.
An introduction to the mystery of self and the way of the Master Soul. The true Garden of Eden is the mind, and over every mind the self is given absolute dominion and power over the self. If then you would set free the soul from sorrow and secure for yourself the happiness, unity, and eternity of life, then awaken yourself by yourself. Examine yourself by yourself. Thus, guarded by yourself and ever attentive, you would dwell in the house of happiness, connecting with all things and enter diligently into eternity. For the self is Lord of the self always, and the self is the refuge of the self. Therefore, tame yourself even as a chariot would tame for the race a fine horse. In the garden of the mind we speak to self, and in it we generate thought from our 5 sensory functions and from thought itself, forming, ordering, and directing from within every fiber of self and anything associated with the self. Through sensation we generate and direct thought, and thoughts structured and categorized produce phantom forms, and such spiritual forms become the building blocks of a vast and infinite kingdom created by the self, for the self to dwell as king and priest of the self. We create phantom forms from thought in the workshop of the mind, and thought is generated from what we perceive through experience of life, wherein exist countless messengers, teachers even, who present different levels of themselves again and again, continually and perpetually, when the mind is able to perceive on levels higher and higher ad infinitum, as far as the mind traverses the path of its own understanding until it comes to acknowledge the messenger's presence within from without, and without from within. For them, your acknowledgement is the marker that shows that the mind is ready for more.
And as it is written, for the acknowledging of truth is what's after godliness. Titus 1:1.
So, good phantom forms were created within you, yea, even from the very womb as you, and they prove to be a host of helpers, which are only trying to say or deliver the message that I was created in you, and always am I with you. Use me wisely anytime you want, but I recommend you do not abuse me. My good wealth can never run out, but misuse of me is the beginning of chaos and disease, and in this way you work your own destruction. But on the other hand, bad phantom forms are created through ignorance. They immediately begin to develop outside the womb, out of the falsehoods and abuses that already exist from within the worldly construct of man's own collective creation, having only one purpose: to deceive and consume its hosts. Thus is the true understanding of being born in sin and iniquity, a world full of ignorant evildoers doing and teaching bad things, and not with sin and iniquity already in the mind. For no one is inherently full of bad phantom forms, but the garden of the mind is created only as it was spoken from the very beginning. Very good. Genesis 1:31. We all begin from a natural or innocent state that begins to shape the moment we exit the womb, but not without the seed of the hidden code of the knowledge of the divine and perfect way protected and preserved within, awaiting its discovery by the Master Self. Let me explain. What man created love? Has his or her name been written in man's book of records that I may ever give credit where credit is due? Can a man pick it up and lay it down before me so that I may examine it, deconstruct and reconstruct it as I would a computer? Can I buy love and sell it? I would be rich beyond measure. Love is the attribute and creation of another far greater than man, yet still is possible within everyone. So when we experience love, the greatest of all good phantom forms, the experience of it can be recognized everywhere and used through mimicry when learned well. Love then proves to be selfless, generous, thoughtful, a putting forth of effort, harmony, etc. Such a form as infinite as love never stops growing within and manifesting without, ever excelling and never failing. It is the most powerful energy of all creation, connecting all things as one. So when we recognize what seems to be good, thoughtful, and harmonious, we ultimately call it love. I say what seems because law governs all things, even love. True love, then, is the manifestation of a good phantom, meaning imagery, form. The image of God can only be an image and nothing greater, and that image still is great and infinite. Only in the mind of God are pure forms, not phantom, called by the universal mind of man, the name or character of God, or the face or appearance of God, or the attributes or angels or holy messengers of God. And this is all only in man's effort to comprehend his incomprehensible creator when he comes to discover merely the part of God he sees. So, in the mind, only a copy of creation is presented, a shadow of creation, so to speak, a shadow of a shadow even. In the mind, to the self, can only things that have passed away be presented. We will discuss love in the nature of shadows in order to pinpoint reality, which is the immutable mind of God, in other videos. But in the garden of the mind, thoughts thus are the helm of one's entire being, directing every part. Likewise, bad phantom forms, on the other hand, are what imprisons every soul that succumbs to them. And mankind alone has created each and every one. For example, the first man to kill created the bad phantom form of hate that bore the deed, not the Creator who is all good and from whom nothing bad comes. The universal mind, or collective mind of man, has a saying, "As one thinketh, so does that one become," and ultimately is. So guard your thoughts well with all diligence, for out of them are the true issues of life. The true force of one's being comes from the will, not to mention the I above the will, where I and will together has the power to cause anything at all to be. If the two are at odds, this is a mental sickness in need of healing. But think of the will as the power of truth within, which is the actual force of God, and the power of wisdom within, the intellect of God. Power is nothing at all. It is simply a manifest of force. And within the will alone is where power is born and directed. These two, truth, which is one constant force, and wisdom, which is the divine intellect, marry and dwell within a room in the kingdom of the soul that we commonly call the will. They work together in the garden of the mind to generate and direct thought according to the strength and development of each. The more developed the truth is within you, the easier a thought manifests. The more developed wisdom is within you, the easier it is to do the good and beneficial over the bad and deficient, and to do it excellently with no fear. Therefore, if truth is strong and wisdom is not, one could easily find oneself manifesting bad habits more than good ones. And if wisdom alone is strong within the will, one could just as easily find oneself forming good thoughts, good ideas, that never grow in the garden of the mind to fruition. All power, of course, is developed through exercise, and such is the will. Truth and wisdom, again, comes only from the divine. Thus, one's state of being in inner order can only be formed after the Creator, in His image, the divine, making Him the one and only Father, the truth, and Mother, the wisdom, of the great household of brothers and sisters, mankind. Hear you plainly then a mystery of the self, the I. And this can only be the I. In every garden of the mind of every single being is one true master seed or master self planted. This very basic seed is what you call of yourself I. Whether spoken or not, I is ever understood and absolute within the self, and for every seed, I, of itself, shall bring forth the measure of its own fullness, some 30-fold, some 60-fold, and still again, others an 100-fold. So the true health of the I, spirit, the will, soul, and the body, is for them to be whole through and through. Thus is the perfect harmony and perfect order of I, will, and be, just as the great Creator or the great I am. Worthy they then who gain the mastery of self, they have the key of power. In this video, in addition to the spiritual food you've already received, not from me, but from the breast of divine wisdom, I will share with you the inner meditation of the Master Soul, the fearless, the healthy, and infinite soul, so that the more you listen to it and meditate on it again and again within your being, the more it will help you begin the healing needful within to direct your thoughts at the highest level, which is infinity, and the key to eternal life. The soul's only healing remedy is holiness, which can only be taught and unlocked through words of divine wisdom. And true holiness is simply love, universal. So, as we begin to heal by forming within the full mental alchemist or the Master Soul, we can achieve the fullest potential possible as the image of God. That's image, singular, and not plural, because we, though many, are one. Disclaimer: the writing I am about to read to you is not my own, and neither is it the writing of the author of the book in which it was found, but rather I've traced their origin to Tao, Brahmic, Hebrew, and other ancient scholastic manuscripts. Below, I will post references only to stay clear of plagiarism, but read at your own discretion. Therefore, whatever material I use will all come together to achieve its purpose, which is to give you the tools you need to unlock you and form you according to divine will, the will of God. And whatever I do not use, I do not attest to, even if it's from the same book. We must be careful readers and rightly divide the words of truth from that which is falsehood. 2 Titus 2:15. Hear then and meditate on these words that will truly unlock your own existence. Book of Pearls, Pearls of Wisdom. Pearl 1. In the garden of the mind does the Master Soul speak, saying, I am serene, like calm waters deep and still, possessing within my depths the ineffable mystery touched by wonder, unknowable yet always known. I am serene, like the eye of a mighty tempest filled with calmness, dwelling in peace in the midst of strife, letting go the hurtful passions. I am serene, like a summer day in the midst of winter, imperturbable and brightly shining, casting light within the darkness, giving hope in place of despair. I am serene, like music well composed and pleasing to hear, creating from life a symphony of joy, establishing between light and shadow the way of harmony. I am serene, like a polished mirror finely made, reflecting from stillness the likeness of heavenly things, bearing within both heart and mind a constant meditation. I am serene, like a rainbow within the rain, casting away the fears of many, filling the eyes of those who see with promise, revealing the heart of God. I am serene, balanced between heaven and earth, tranquil as a drifting cloud, gentle as the springtime breeze, keeping within the heart the song of angels. Pearl 2. In the garden of the mind does the Master Soul speak, saying, I am detached, not bound by cold disdain, neither aloof nor made indifferent, but resigned to the acceptance of all things, revealing the will of God, to stand untroubled and unperplexed, secured by faith and fully trusting. I am detached, free from the demands of pride and ego, to dwell unmoved by lesser passions, standing beyond both blame and praise, being anchored within by a calm assurance, to rise above the hurtful fray, being guarded and well protected by godly hope. I am detached, embraced within by the far beyond, to gaze upon some great horizon, not seduced by the entanglements of the world, neither lured nor abated by hurtful words,
but looking quiet beyond the storm to see the great eternal. I am detached, bound to God but not disconnected, seeing clearly the ways of life, seeking ever the greater light, that I may be a light to others, braced within by calm demeanor, to be for all a friend. I am detached, seeing beyond the veil of time, beyond mere mortal flesh, enraptured within by songs eternal, to touch the heart of God, becoming in life the sacred way to touch the lives of others. Pearl 3. In the garden of the mind does the Master Soul speak, saying, I am empty, not despairing, having emptied myself of myself, pouring upon the altar of love the demands of the ego, becoming the ready vessel which God will fill. I am empty, letting go of things made thin, casting off the unessential, always touched by deeper stillness, filled with sacred expectation, waiting gently upon the heart to feel the whispers of the soul. I am empty, not devoid of meaning, nor in the mind made dull or listless, but possessed instead of greater purpose, being always filled from far beyond to see in God the greatest meaning, to become as one made fully known. I am empty, not puffed up with vain deceit, speaking little of the self, but seeking instead to gently hear, becoming to all a refuge, filling the heart of those in need with a ready approbation. I am empty, yet always filled, seeking in solitude to touch the heavens, embracing to my soul the rhythm of things eternal, becoming myself both vast and deep, hiding up the mystery. Pearl 4. In the garden of the mind does the Master Soul speak, saying, I am complete, possessing within the heart and mind the fullness of all things desired, for nothing added can make me more, nothing taken can make me less. I am complete, being lost in God and made content, graced by the oneness and undivided, being fully whole and firmly fixed, to stand unbroken by harmful want. I am complete, set free from covetous desire, dwelling beyond the touch of greed, making from my daily life a banquet worthy of partaking. I am complete, containing within the whole creation, ascending through dreams to the highest heights of heaven, reaching deeper than the great abyss, filled within by sun and moon and stars. I am complete, having within my life the sum of all totalities, being free of that gasping and clutching need which makes ruin the life of many. I am complete, joyous and filled with song, happy and well comported, finding within a fount of blessing, springing eternal from the heart of God. I am complete, like a circle embracing life, containing within the all in all, for nothing added can give me more, nothing taken away will give me less. Pearl 5. In the garden of the mind does the Master Soul speak, saying, I am compassionate, bearing in my soul the weight of imperfection, seeing in others the reflection of myself, to be in them and they in me, the shadow of each the other, finding within the things most common, revealing the likeness of greater things. I am compassionate, ever seeking to understand, reaching always for deeper wisdom, being quick to love and gently hold, and in my heart but soft enfold, both saint and sinner to make as one with God. I am compassionate, bringing light in place of darkness, joy in place of tears, hope in place of despair, and wisdom in place of hurt and ignorance, seeking not to judge or find unworthy, but seeking only to forgive and gently heal. I am compassionate, greeting all with gentle approbation, being in my soul the one who knows, seeing the world for what it is, yet guided within to make it better, reaching forth the gentle hand to change the world forever. I am compassionate, dressed in grace and kindly manner, seeking to rescue and uplift, striving to undo and restore, guiding the mind to some greater understanding, laboring beside the God of heaven to touch the heart of man. Pearl 6. In the garden of the mind does the Master Soul speak, saying, I am awake, not as someone lulled to sleep, nor distracted by illusions, neither lost nor made confounded by the shadows of today, but am instead made most aware through the wisdom which comes from God. I am awake, to stand as one most fully rested, and in the mind made calm, filled within by deep contentment, to stand untroubled midst the fray, accepting with a godly grace the ebb and flow of life. I am awake, like a star that's brightly burning in the midst of darkest night, like sunshine warmly glowing in the midst of falling rain, always seeing beyond the moment, filled within by quiet assurance. I am awake, like the sun I outward shine, replacing hurt with calm assurance, giving strength to those made weak, bringing courage to those made fearful, opening wide the hearts of others to fill with songs instead of tears. I am awake, elevated from within, enlightened from beyond, unperturbed and always hopeful, reaching deep beyond the stars, singing well the songs of heaven, made awake and filled with God. Pearl 7. In the garden of the mind does the Master Soul speak, saying, I am eternal, being in my truer self, unseen but always present, unfelt but always there, untouched but always seeking to touch the lives of those I love, to fill them up with light. I am eternal, drawn from the womb of endless time, immutable and immortal, and made to last forever, beyond the dreams of God, beyond the hopes of man, filled with endless wonder. I am eternal, endless and filled with hope, dwelling in all and through all, graced within by holy expectation, to live the song of God, embracing mist tender passion, the hopes of all creation. I am eternal, dwelling beyond the things which are, beyond the things which bind, partaking well the things of spirit, to dwell within the light, finding within the gates of heaven, leading on from less to greater. I am eternal, empowered by fate, and made most content, emboldened and enleavened, and made to dance with the heart of God, becoming myself as one eternal, everlasting and infinite, an endless soul with endless mind, born of God to dwell in love forever. Pearl 8. Truth which can be spoken is not eternal truth. The name revealed and made most common is not the eternal name. And mysteries spoken and passed about are not eternal mysteries. That which is ineffable is felt but not perceived, revealed but not possessed, moving soft and filled with stillness, soaring beyond both death and time, untouched but always touching. This, the holy, but soft descends to touch the waiting heart, filling the minds of those who seek with dreams of pure delight, spilling unto the soulful person the song of many wonders. Thus, free from desire, you see the eternal, transcending space and time, to stand yourself revealed in God, consumed in silent knowing. But caught in the grip of base desires, you see naught but shadows only, ever seeking with gripping hands, to fill the void within. Yet the eternal and the shadow are likewise born together, reflecting in each the likeness of the other, revealing the heart of God. This is the mystery born of mystery, endless and filled with joy. And before its gates, if you would but stand, to touch with eager heart, in you shall be found the hidden way, rich in understanding. Pearl 9. Awaken yourself by yourself, and you become enlightened. Examine yourself by yourself, and wisdom soon arises. For the self is Lord of the self, midst light and shadow always, weighing in the hand both good and evil, discerning in the darkness the light which few can see. Thus guarded by the self and most attentive, you become the master and the architect of all your life, building of your life the living temple where God is quick revealed, touching the heavens far beyond to give it place within your soul. For the self of the self is filled with mystery, casting light upon many shadows. Thus in knowing the self, the master is made both good and wise, acting subtly through simple doings. The master speaks, then soft lets go, greeting always both joy and sorrow with a calm and kind regard. For the master has but does not possess, acts but does not expect, leads but does not rule, teaches but does not demand, accepting with equal grace both saint and sinner, seeing in each the shadow of the other. For the master is the source of harmony, giving hope and solace to every people. Thus is the master made strong through yielding, like the rushing out of many waters, wearing away the hardest stone. Pearl 10. The Eternal gives birth to all things, and all things flow from out her depths. All things return to find again their birth. The Eternal is always present, being both near and far, both within and without. She moves and is unmoving, lying beyond the senses of the body. She sings the song of sweet forever, to chase away the darkness, exuding into the lives of men and women, the essence of her soul, the light of lights. For the song of the Eternal binds together all living things, to hold within the ether, dwelling in all and through all. She guides without interfering. She acts without doing. She nurtures without cuddling. She comforts without weakening. She counsels to make strong the child which comes from God. Thus does the Master embrace the Eternal to stand as one together, yielding here and leading there, like lovers in a dance, moving with a graceful ease through the pages of mortal life, to leave behind the trailing glory, filled with dreams that onward lead. Thus is the Master made imperturbable, being calm midst blame and praise, like a willow in the mighty tempest. Yield and strength increases, bend and you do not break, yea, rock and you will not faint. Pearl 11. See the sacred in all things, and you become holy. See the good in all people, and you become enlightened. Seek the source of wisdom, and you embrace eternal essence. Seek to be empty, and you are filled to overflowing. Let go expectations, and you cannot be disappointed. Let go yourself, and you become content. Fear not the touch of sorrow, and you will not fear to know your joy. Fear not death, and you will not be afraid to live. Know the darkness, and you will see the light. Know the bitter, and you will taste the sweet. Rush after happiness, and you find misery. Rush after wealth, and you become poor. Seek for approval, and you become the prisoner. Seek after security, and you will live in fear.
Thus does the Master find within the goodness of all things without, seeing in all creation the footprints that lead to God. Pearl 12. Build in yourself a good foundation, and all things are possible. Believe in yourself, and you will never fail. Because you do not believe in yourself, you cannot believe in God. Because you do not believe in yourself, you are filled with great despair. See the good which others do, and you are filled with goodness. Lift up your hands to bless, and life becomes a blessing. Hope in things eternal, and God is born within you. Walk in faith, embrace the light, and darkness falls away. Forgive those who wrong you, and you will fill with healing. Rejoice in the fortunes of others, and life is filled with song. Fear to be silent, and noise will overwhelm you. Rebuke the silence of others, and you become the troubler. Fear to be alone, and you are always lonely. Reject the call of solitude, and you are always filled with burdens. Thus is the Master formed, rooted in the fountains of a happy soul, seeing the good amidst the shadows, hearing the song amidst the noise, embracing the silence with deep contentment, to hear the music of the sphere, finding in solitude a new beginning, immersed in the womb of the great eternal. Pearl 13. To know your highest, know your depths. To soar beyond, go within. To touch the boundless, accept the limitations. To reach the dawn, endure the night. To know the eternal, you must know the beginning. To know the birth of all things, you must walk amidst the way. Like the eye of the mighty tempest, the winds rage and rush about. But in the middle of the storm, there is calmness. Wisdom begins by knowing that you do not know. Wisdom grows through the acceptance of things as they are. In doing acts of goodness, wisdom blossoms. Being free of complaints, you see beyond the shadows. Filled with desire and ever seeking, the mystery is born within you. Reaching out with great resolve, the light of understanding quiet descends. For understanding is the fruit of wisdom, casting light within the darkness, revealing always the great portion, filled with many wonders. For the character of the self is the only destiny, for character is made and not inherited, exposing within the simplest of man and woman the mystery of a far more noble birth, to make of paupers kings and queens, dressed in endless glory. Pearl 14. The spirit is like water, content to dwell in lower places, taking shape wherein it dwells. It refreshes and renews, giving birth to life and life to man. It ascends to possess great depth, hiding up the mystery. In seeking spiritual things, the waters rise within you, flooding first the lowest valleys, raising up above the hills, swallowing up the highest mountains, to bear you closer unto God. Time is like a river, it rushes quickly on, carrying away upon the flood the days of all your life. Ever moving, never resting, it takes you from the past to give you place within you. Gushing onward quickly still, it rushes to the sea, lifting up beyond the moment, spilling you into eternity. Thus is the Master become like water poured upon the earth, seeking out the lowest places. The Master is humble and always gracious. Like water in a parched and weary land, the Master refreshes and enlevens, to make in the desert a garden of the soul. Living not in unseen tomorrows, the Master dwells within today. Being content within each moment, the Master embraces eternity. Opening wide the gates of the soul, the Master is at one with creation. Pearl 15. The eternal is like an ocean, deep and filled with mystery, giving life and receiving life again and again, casting up from out of her depths the sands of endless time, casting up the shores of life, the song of all your days but half remembered, as though it were a dream, reflecting back into the heavens the sun and moon and stars, to cast as diamonds upon the waves the wonders of creation. All the streams of mighty rivers flow into the ocean, for the waters of the deep are lower than all the rest. For it is humility which gives to the ocean the sum of all her powers. Dwelling in the deep places of the earth, she refreshes and renews the whole world together. For in the eternal are all things made complete and filled with new beginnings. So is the Master like an ocean, deep and filled with stillness, content and always humble, giving life to those who see, casting up before the eyes the fruits of a humble heart. For the fruits of humility are these: simplicity, patience, and compassion. Thus in simplicity you find yourself, in patience you are made content, and in compassion the seed of understanding is born within you. Pearl 16. The way of the Spirit is peaceful and harmonious, overcoming without contending, answering without speaking, building without striving, succeeding without demanding, prospering without taking from others. The Spirit is in the center of every man and every woman, filled with many mansions, containing within its parts the song of many mysteries, revealing before the eye the likeness of things eternal. What then shall the Spirit become but a good man's treasure and a bad man's refuge, offering up within the mind the wisdom of endless ages? Thus is the Master Spirit minded, living peacefully with all men, being free of delusions, yet filled with light and truly seeing, knowing within the only true reality which is born of God and not of men, becoming as one enraptured and filled with deepest knowing, being seen by those who see as treasure and a refuge, filled with many mansions. Pearl 17. There is no fire which burns like passion, no capture of the self like hatred, no snare of the soul like self-delusion, and no torrent like unceasing want, carrying away upon the flood all tranquility. Thus, choose the passions which in you burn, choose to love and let go, to be preserved amidst the flame, always loving, yet always sovereign, standing beyond the touch of hate, beyond the fear of loss, knowing well the soul within, free of all delusion, filled within by treasures hidden, to stand most free of want. Thus will the Master choose with knowing to be as someone sovereign, moved within by loving passions and free of discontent, raising soft above the storms to stand as one supreme, not compelled by those made less, nor made by fear a hostage, letting slip the things which wound, to touch the face of God. For those made sovereign must seek the sovereign, to stand as one together, being each as someone separate, yet together made the whole, surrendering in love the inward self, to spill forth passions from the heart, then taking up the sovereign mantle, to love again should call, then offering up in sweet surrender the love which inward burns, to fuse together two loving souls, to make each a part, to shape by fire the great eternal, bound by a loving heart. Pearl 18. The world is filled with patterns, hidden deep and oft unseen, giving birth to the forms of living things to move within the ethers. each becoming a living part which would teach the forms of others, to change forever the outward life by the things which inward move. Choose for yourself to be the pattern filled with light and goodness. Touch with care the lives of others, and God shall walk beside you, changing through most subtle efforts the world in which you live, to see all things as one connected, each part of the total sum. For on each day the sun will rise, the world is born anew, to take its likeness from yourself, proving itself as good or bad as you yourself determine. For the beautiful and the ugly are likewise born within, and then they outward move to reveal in the world its many wonders, or to fill it up with hurt. Change one thing about yourself, and you change yourself forever. Speak the truth with gentle care, and the world becomes more noble. Hear the truth without anger, and the world becomes more tranquil. Choose to be kind and understand, and the world is made more tolerant. Embrace to your heart all living things, and you become eternal. Pearl 19. Love freely, and life becomes a wonder, and boundaries disappear. Dwell in things eternal, and you are filled with joy. Live your faith, and you are never lost. Give liberally, and you are always full. Avoid the strife of others, and peace will dwell within. For the soul is filled with many mansions, rich and well adorned. Dressed in wonders long forgotten, it beckons from within, sounding as some distant echo, calling from afar, ever hopeful that you will enter to find but who you are. Fashioned not of mortal dust, nor simply bone and blood, but made of stars and endless time to hold the heart of God. And so the Master finds refuge quick and near at hand, being shelter from the storms which lash and rage without, dwelling soft within the soul to walk through many mansions. Pearl 20. Open your mind, and all things are possible. Open your heart, and you become the world. Open your soul to know yourself, and the cosmos cannot contain you. Follow the Spirit, and you become the leader. Accept adversity with gentle grace, and you will overcome it. Embrace your life to live your joy, and you will never fear. Be personable and kind, yet be detached and keep a distance. Be friendly and open-hearted, yet do not become familiar. Know your friends and keep them few, and you will never want. Nothing in this life is constant. All things change with time. Like the seasons softly turning, all things flow into each the other, moving gently within the circle to touch your life again. So, be constant like the seasons, like the rising of the sun, always true and ever faithful to the things which inward shine, moving soft from less to greater, kind cleaving unto kind. And like a star that's brightly shining in the heavens far beyond, giving light to many others, making bright the way before, lifting high the wayward stranger to see at last his truer home. Pearl 21. Love the many, yet keep to the one. Embrace the other, yet cherish the one you love. Know your friends and love them deep, holding nothing back, to reveal in you that one beloved, and this forever keep. In loving others is found a perspective, the means by which you measure. In loving many you find the one, to be to you a treasure. Be the man, yet adorn the woman. Be the woman, yet adorn the man. For the man is made for woman, and the woman is made for man. For separate and alone are you but half, but in coming together the circle is made complete, and complete you two are one, and the one belongs to God. Filling the soul with fiery passions, unlocking the doors of love, revealing through rhythms of soft and sweet the dance which would consume, to leave you full and well content, and the glow of love well spent. Know the opposite, and you know yourself, yielding up through gentle offerings, the passion which inward burns, lifting high the one you love, that you yourself might soar, to fly with angels high above, while yet you inward sing, holding your love within your arms, to rest in gentle dreams. For the flesh of your body is the door to the spirit. The loving passion becomes the key, which opens wide the vaults of heaven to touch eternity. Pearl 22. In silence, the mystery is preserved. In hearing, the mystery is awakened. Those who know speak little. Those who speak know less. Guard the sacred with silence, and the sacred will blossom like a rose. Live the sacred, and you will live forever. Give forth words with which to argue, and contention will arise. Meet an argument with an argument, and peace will disappear. Let frustration seize your words, and you become the captive. Resent those who would contend, and you become undone. Show your joy, and speak it well, and arguments fade away. Be the light which does but dance, and the darkest night will yield. Rest in silence, quiet and deep, and all things will soon be known. Be still and calm, and quietly listen, and the voice of God will speak. And so the master will not argue, will not contend or fight, but does instead most quietly rest in the bosom of great knowing, holding up for all to see the joy which inward shine, providing for all a place of refuge made quiet and oft sublime. Pearl 23. Surrender power, and power is born within you. Give up control, and you can govern yourself. Become as nothing, and trouble cannot hurt. Relinquish pride, and you are filled with peace. Yield yourself to God, and endless horizons will touch your dreams. Look with joy beyond yourself, and see the great horizon. Feel the horizon far and distant, and you are filled with awe. Seek the horizon to make it yours, and your journey is filled with purpose. Touch the horizon, and another will beckon and lead you on. Going from horizon to horizon, the sun will rise within your soul. Go within, and you will see forever. Go beyond, and you become content. Speak kindly and gently yield, and anger fades away. Uplift the fallen without judging them, and you uplift yourself. Be gracious and courteous to all, and you become the master. A master is made a great horizon, with stir and inward shine, calling out through gentle whispers to come and inward find, beckoning always from afar to go from less to greater, seeking still the furthest star, you fill the soul with wonder. Pearl 24. All things move in circles, like the seasons of the year. Winter yields to spring, spring gives away to summer, summer resigns, and then the autumn, then comes the snow again. All things move in circles through the halls of endless time, causing day to yield to night, and night to yield to day, causing that life should yield to death, and death should bring new life. All things move in circles, flowing in, then gently out, rising up, then falling down, all things passing to come again, through gentle undulations, bound together through the rhythms, to make of many one. For in the circle where all things move, do opposites meet face to face. Thus in the dawn and in the dusk, do light and darkness meet. And there but soft embrace, to give to each a gentle kiss, and then again they part, to place inside the tender ache within each other's heart. Man and woman become the circle, where each are made complete, bound by love within the fires, to dance within the flames, inflamed within by deep desire to fill each other's needs. Pearl 25. When troubles come, be calm and quiet, letting go the dark emotion, but ponder deep and softly speak, and weigh within the hand. For grace is born amidst the fires which come with tribulation, to make more noble and filled with God the one who struggles after. Rise above the calm, and you will hear the song. Rise above defeat, and you will seize the prize. Rise above mediocrity, and excellence will guide the way. Rise above your lesser self, and the greater self is born. Choose to be spiritual, and the eternal will be revealed. Choose the discipline which leads to prayer, and meditations fill the heart. Choose to study and to ponder the words which lead to God, and in you will rise the strength of angels to make of you a master. Being free from distractions, the master hears. Free of illusion, the master sees. Free of doubt, the master dares. Free of self, the master shines to fill the world with light. Pearl 26. Desire the simple, and you will never want. Live simply, and complexities disappear. Think simply, and confusions fade away. Speak simply, and you will know your depths. Work simply, and success is your reward. Love simply, and you are always loved. Simplify relationships, and you are not deceived. Be as a child filled with wonder, and heaven is born within. Make your life beautiful, and all things are filled with beauty. See beyond the things which are, and miracles will abound. Dwell in silence, and the spirit sings. Let the breath be calm, and the soul awakens. Meet your fears with courage, and you are not defeated. Build a lasting faith, and you become indomitable. Give to the world a greater vision, and you become a savior. Lift up the fallen to set them free, and you touch the soul of God. Simple is the master, in thought, in word, in deed, lifting high the lowest born to touch eternity. Pearl 27. Prayer of Assurance. My soul, hear the prayer of my heart, and always remember that in this life I am never alone, for God my Father and God my Mother are always with me. Their light and wisdom do comfort me, and whenever they breathe upon me, I am filled with overflowing. In God I am preserved from sorrow, for in their embrace is there always found a fountain of joy and peace forever springing up. Over adversity I am always made the victor, and in the troubled moment have I made sure the way of escape. For the self have I poured out as an offering unto God, to make as empty the soul within. The hunger of all my wanting have I turned loosed from the hand, to chase it far from me. How then shall I be troubled, or filled with sorrow, seeing that I have emptied my soul of the self within, that I may be filled again with the presence of God? Surely Elohim has set their hand upon me to turn my thoughts unto glory. And when I am turned, behold, I am made all happy within. And the way of calmness has God placed as a path beneath my feet. Surely God has become my help and refuge in time of trouble. All my trust have I placed in the Father and Mother beyond me, and I shall not be afraid any more. For in God am I made strong in courage and wisdom, speaking always the gracious word of life unto all who would listen. My soul,
This prayer is the promise of God unto me, that I might have every assurance and confidence to endure while in this life. And even as I speak the words, Elohim has drawn me close unto their bosom to make straight the way before me. Even so, Amen. Pearl 28. Prayer of Release and Emptiness. My soul, hear the prayer of my heart and always remember that in this moment I release into the endless void all pain and anger, all hate and bitterness, all remorse and disappointment, all sorrow and heartache. The memories that wound, that tear the soul to fill with grief, even these I set aside in forgiveness, that I may find peace within. All these things have I torn loose from my soul, and in their release am I made all empty within. And in this stillness do I quietly feel the coming forth of God. For the blessings of this life have I weighed in the hand, and with the very thoughts of them I have found an abundance of joy. For God has filled me up with goodness, to turn my thoughts unto glory. Come, my Father, and in me dwell. For all hate and bitterness have I cast aside. For by your presence am I healed of every affliction, that I might walk uprightly and stand boldly before the children of men. Let your breath, like the wind, caress my soul, that I might be refreshed at the coming forth of your glory. Amen. Pearl 29. Prayer to the Great Mother. And thou, Great Mother, Spirit of comfort, blessed, divine, descend thou upon me and depart not. Fill me to overflowing, that I might sing unto the children of men the song of your wisdom. Come, Great Mother, most blessed of the heavenly hosts, and lift me nearer unto thee, and upon thy bosom shall I take rest, and in the comfort of thine arm find sweet repose. For I am as a tender buff made ready just for thee. Breathe upon me, and I shall dance. Before all nations of the earth shall I make known the greatness of your love. For all my days have you established in joy and honor, that peace and grace might make noble the humble habitation. Behold how great the Mother is, even the Holy Spirit. For she draws up her robe round about her, and it is night. She looses the string of her garment, and it is day. Surely the stars are become as a crown upon her head, and the sun has the Father set as a jewel upon her head. May each word spoken herein resonate deep within your soul and release your infinite mind where the holy silence of the soul is found. You, yourself, must prepare your own way. This holy silence is a place where none but the pure in heart may enter. Holy silence is the laying aside of all tensions of the mind, all business cares, all fears, all doubts and troubled thoughts, allowing your human will to be absorbed by the divine in order to come into the consciousness of holiness, and thus from within tearing the veil apart that you may see the world of real things by the awakening of spirit consciousness, awaking you to a real life from within, full of peace, tranquility, and infinity. Be you reborn. Universal love is knowing that you are not the only one that this video helps, but the whole world needs to know. Okay, so help me get the word out that we are reaching up to our divine existence by connecting with our Creator through self-mastery His way. So please like, subscribe, comment, and share, and don't forget to hit the notification button to properly stay up to date with posts to this channel. And check out my other channel in the description below to learn even more mysteries of the overall grand design. I'm telling you, there are things that I have that I need to tell the entire world, and we are now about to wake up to our true existence. To book me for a speaking engagement at your church, graduation, organization, and or any event or venue that you feel the information I share is useful, you can find my Facebook page. Just search FullMental Alchemy or click the link below. Currently, I'm working on a website and that'll take me some time to bring it up, but so far, so good. Peace, love, and Aruka. Thank you all for listening.